Hi, my name is Chris Rizzo, Technical Trainer for Bosch Thermal Technology, and today we'll be covering the installation of a C1210ES. The C in front of any model number for any of our tankless water heaters designates that water heater as a condensing model. Once you get your water heater and you're looking at the side of it, always make sure you got the right water heater that you designed for. The next thing you want to make sure of is that it's the right gas type. If you ordered a natural gas, it should be labeled on the label itself. As you'll see here, this is a natural gas unit and the NG symbol is located here on the label.
The number in the model number is derived from a maximum flow rate at a 35-degree temperature rise. The E in any model number is a reference to the electronic ignition and the S is for sealed combustion. If any model number has a C before the maximum flow rate number, then that model is a condensing model. If any unit has a C at the end of the model number, then that unit is a designated commercial unit and has a maximum temperature of 180 degrees.
The next thing, of course, is that you're going to want to get the unit out of the box itself. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open the top of it. Everything that you need as far as vent adapters, if this is an indoor unit, will be located in the top of the box. So once you open it, what you'll see is the intake vent adapter, exhaust vent adapter. The gaskets will be located inside this bag, as well as the screws. So you'll have your two gaskets. This is your intake gasket, this is your exhaust gasket. So you'll have those inside the box, and always make sure that those are there as well. Your mounting screws for the bracket that will be on the wall behind me. The next thing that you'll want to take out of here is the other mounting screws. Exhaust vent adapter. One of the more important things that you'll want to take out of here is the instruction guide. This is your manual that'll come with the unit. Once again, it'll have the model number at the top. The C1210ES also comes in a commercial model, which is the ESC. Residential models go up to 140 degrees. Commercial models go up to 180. This is the largest tankless condensing water heater on the market with 225,000 BTUs.
The best way to register the unit is to go to the Bosch Way to Grow website and register your install there. I would highly encourage this, as the website is full of sales offerings, great prizes, and leads for your company. It's a great way to grow your business and to partner with one of the world's biggest appliance manufacturing companies. The alternative is to fill out the registration form located in the box that the unit came in.
So we've got that inside. Another thing that'll be located inside the top of the box where the styrofoam is the hanging bracket. This is what you'll mount on the wall. You're going to make sure that it's level, and I'll show you how to do that. You'll mount this on the wall and the unit will actually hang from this particular bracket. The holes on this bracket from this side to this side are 16 inches on center. So you're going to want to have a stud finder whenever you're hanging this particular bracket. If not, this unit weighs 80 pounds. You're going to want to get something that'll anchor it to the wall that'll be able to hold that particular weight. If you're dealing with a concrete or a brick wall, you'll want to use red heads or something like that. But if it is just a residential install, you'll want to find those studs and put this bracket on it. So let me get this out of the way. And there is a little method to the madness as far as taking the unit out of the box. Set all of my install stuff off to the side here. Also, the mounting screws for the vent adapter bracket, or for the vent adapters themselves, are located in the top of the box as well. They're kind of small, they can get lost, so you'll definitely want to put them somewhere safe where you won't kick them or drop them in the dirt or anything like that, but they definitely come with it. There. Now, the easiest way to do this is to cut the bottom of the box. Now, fold the top up, get him that way, and you'll cut the bottom. You don't have to worry about scratching it. There is another styrofoam that's at the bottom of the box, and you can go as deep as you want to, so long as you don't really go any higher than about 2 inches. Take this guy out, set him off to the side, and that's the easiest way to tank out a Bosch tankless water heater. Now the next thing that we're going to do in this process is take our hanging bracket. We'll also need a level, and you're going to want to find the studs. In this particular case, we're mounting it on a brick wall, so no studs are necessary, but I still want to make sure that this thing is level. So put him on the wall. You'll want to make the height of it about 66 inches or so. This is a perfect height for any service that you may have to come back and do, getting access to the actual isolation ball valve kit. This will just make your life a whole heck of a lot easier. So just take your level, make sure that it is exactly level itself, and then we'll screw this to the wall. Once you have the unit out of the box and it's out in the open, you'll want to install the flue adapters. Now the exhaust is always going to be in the center. It's very important that you keep the combustion gas analyzer port facing the front of the unit itself. You don't need a combustion gas analyzer to actually install a unit, but you will need one maybe in the future if you're going to do any service on it. There should be no issue with installing one from 0 to 2,000 feet. Anybody who's in high elevation definitely understands that they need one in case they're running any of the vent lengths to their max. So, the first one that you're going to want to install, like I said, is this exhaust gas adapter. Now, the flue actually needs this gasket. It's a little hard, it's a little twisted, but it does have a sticker or a sticky substance on one side of it. This yellow is what covers it up. Now, you're going to have to separate him like that. Okay, peel it off, make sure they don't stick to each other. Get that guy away. Open him up. And the easiest way is to turn this over, put it down, and line up the holes. Can be a little bit difficult, but once you're there, move it, line up one hole. It'll stretch some, and it can be sticky. That. There's that. Got it. And your gasket should look similar to this. Now once you place him on, make sure that that port is in the front. Line up your holes. Push down. And then grab your screws that came with the unit, if you haven't lost them already, and just screw down your exhaust adapter. It's also a good idea if you have a magnetic tip screwdriver in case you drop any of these. Be careful not to drop one down into the unit. It is all vented. Any condensing model themselves are vented with Schedule 40 PVC, whether it be the intake or whether it be the exhaust. You can go to the left or you can go to the right. Just remember that you'll have to remove the blocking plate and put it on the opposite side. So I'm going to grab this other adapter, put him on. This one doesn't have any sticker or any sticky back to it, so you'll just have to put him down. Line up the holes. Line up the holes here. And screw that particular piece down. Right there. Now that I have those two particular parts on, one of the things that you're going to always want to remember is that this is a condensing model. It has 2 heat exchangers in it. The weight of this particular model is 80 pounds. it's a really good idea that you actually get some help to hang this unit on the wall. He can be cumbersome, he can be kind of difficult. And one of the things I really wanted to show you was the fact that on the back side of this unit, you'll have these two hanging brackets. Be really careful. If you're actually going to grab these handles, you'll definitely want gloves. It is sharp galvanized steel. So get a helper, get someone to help you out with this. They don't have to stay for the whole install, but it's just a really good idea to get somebody to help you with this particular unit because it's so heavy. There. And that's the way it should go in. It should just slide down onto that bracket, and then this way you know it's secured to the wall. The next thing that you're going to install once you have the unit on the wall is an isolation ball valve kit. Now, these isolation ball valve kits are not a must, but I would highly suggest that you actually install one of these. At some point or another, due to calcium deposits in the heat exchanger, you're going to have to flush the unit with vinegar. Now, whenever you buy a kit, no matter who the actual manufacturer is, a few things will be inside here and make sure that they're correct. The first thing that you'll see is a pressure relief valve. Now, there is a tag on this pressure relief valve that actually has a rating for BTU as well as pressure. Always make sure that it matches the side label to the unit on the right-hand side as far as BTUs are concerned. If it's too small, it'll open prematurely and you'll have to go back for a service call. So always check that the pressure relief valve is the correct size. The other part that you'll have, and they're marked, is a hot side with a red handle and a spot for that pressure relief valve, and a cold side for the inlet, and it'll be marked with a blue handle. This particular device right here is where you will hook up your flush kit, whether it be vinegar or any of the other devices that you'll use or any of the other substances that you'll use for it. The only thing that Bosch itself endorses is pure white vinegar. It contains about 5% acid and it won't harm any of the piping, and it's definitely safe for people or animals or anything like that. So make sure that this valve kit has those particular ports on it. But like I said, blue for the inlet, red for the outlet. One of the other things that you're going to want to use is Teflon tape. Don't use pipe dope, don't use any type of a sealer. If you use too much of it, you'll clog up the water flow control turbine in the water flow control valve. This will affect the unit. It will not fire if that happens. Your safest bet is to always use Teflon tape on the inlet, on the outlet, and Teflon tape on the gas line. Now, at the bottom of the unit, located here, you'll see this attention sign. And this will designate this as the gas connection. Just remove the cap, take off the label, put that down. The next thing that you'll notice is that we've actually marked the bottom in the metal itself as to where the cold is, where the hot is, and where the gas line goes. So there isn't any problem with actually piping this backwards, and it should never happen out in the field. The other things that you'll notice down here, as far as the fittings are concerned, because this is a condensing model, this is your condensate drain. Whenever you're hooking up the condensate line to this, you have to leave a 1/4 inch air gap. It's not to be glued to it. This is your clean out cap for your trap inside the unit itself. Cold in, hot out. And this particular grommet is if you're going to cascade any units. These units can be cascaded electronically if the job's big enough and the demand is high enough, from 2 units all the way up to 24. And of course, this is your plug-in for your 120 volt power. As I mentioned earlier, there is a rating plate on the right-hand side of the unit. If you're ever calling tech services or talking to anybody from Bosch, the first thing that they're going to ask for is a model and serial number. That's located on the right-hand side of the unit. You'll notice here on the rating plate, it'll have your minimum and maximum BTU range. In the upper right-hand corner here, you'll notice an FD number. That's actually a serial number, and you can see it in fine print right there. Some of the newer models don't have this silver tape, and it'll just be written out with ink. This particular barcode here is the serial number as well. Another thing you'll want to notice, if you have any inspectors who are asking you questions about certifications, those are also located on this label at the very bottom. Any CSA or any other certifications that they're looking for will be located on this rating plate. And as I mentioned before, and I can't stress it enough, when you're putting on your valve kit, the best thing to use, and the only thing that you should really use, is Teflon tape. This should go on the bottom threads, and you'll be able to thread up the unions on the valve kit itself straight up to it. But once again, pipe dope and sealant, not a good idea. Whenever you're doing this, it's a good idea to go with the actual threading of the thread itself. So put it on to the right, just like you were tightening up a fitting to it, and you won't roll it out. That one. So I have my valve kit. I've already put the tape on the bottom of my fittings. And the first thing that you can do with these, most of them do have unions. This particular one is threaded by sweat. You can get them threaded by threaded as well. And all you have to do is break the union at the top of it, take that piece off, and thread it up to the bottom of the unit itself. Paired channel locks should do just fine. I would suggest highly that you don't use a large pipe wrench, especially when you're doing the gas line connection, as this is aluminum. So I'll just take these, thread those up. After you've connected the two tops of the unions to the water in and the water out, the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your gas type Teflon tape, which is yellow, and you're also going to want to get yourself made up a drip leg section. One of the biggest things that I ever see when I'm out in the field is that the guys will not install a full port 3/4 ball valve for the gas line. Now, if you're using track pipe, Ward Flex, or any of the other corrugated type stainless steel gas lines, make sure that you use their rating and their gas sizing whenever you're installing one of these tankless water heaters. But if you're using black iron, that's going to be located in the install guide that came with the unit that I showed you earlier. So one of the more important things as well is that you're going to want to use a drip leg, minimum 3 inches. This should be made out of black iron, and then you can connect your Ward Flex track pipe or whatever it is that you're using up to that particular drip leg section. One of the things I would avoid highly against is using a corrugated CSST unless the actual rating plate is rated for the maximum BTUs of the particular unit that you're actually installing. So this is definitely critical. You're going to want this 3/4 full port gas valve whenever you're installing this. So I will thread these up. And as I mentioned earlier, you'll want the trap to be a minimum of 3 inches. This is what your drip leg should look like. Full port 3/4 inch gas valve in its open position, closed position. Now let's put in the valve kit. Pressure relief valve, and your blue tape rather than the gas type. Should be there. And there it is. Now in this particular install, we'll be coming out of the wall and 90ing up. It's not really a typical install. Most of the time you're either replacing a 40 or 50 gallon water heater. If they have a 1/2 inch line, can't stress it enough, you have to refer to the gas pipe sizing chart that's in the manual. But in this particular install will be coming out of the wall and 90ing up into our fittings here. If you are replacing a 40 or a 50-gallon water heater, you may have to come down, you may have to come over, but the easiest way to do any of the piping on the water side is to put your gas line in first. So we'll hook up the water lines. Now that we've got our copper water lines hooked up to our unit on our inlet side and our outlet side, it'd be a great idea if you insulated these particular pipes. It definitely helps out with the efficiency of the system itself. The other thing that we installed was the pressure relief valve, which is going down to our drain. You'll want to get as close as possible to it, at least within 6 inches. Now that we have the water lines in, the next thing that we installed was our condensate drain. As I had mentioned before, we don't want to glue up to that particular fitting on the outlet of the unit. We want a 1/4 inch air gap for the condensate line to drain into. As it drains down and comes across and back, we're going into a neutralizer. This is available at your wholesaler. The other thing, whenever you do install this neutralizer, you're going to want to put a little slope on it towards the back. And then of course, coming out, we want to go into a drain. By no means do you ever pipe one of these things in copper. There are no copper fittings that should be piped to this, out of this, whatever it may be. No copper whatsoever. I took the cover off to install the venting so I wouldn't scratch the cover. But the venting that we installed was a twin pipe configuration.
There are 6 different types of venting configurations that you can run with a Bosch condensing tankless water heater. Exhausting horizontal or vertical using room air for combustion, concentric horizontal, concentric vertical, twin pipe horizontal, twin pipe vertical, and outdoor. In climates that do not drop below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, single vent to the outside is possible while drawing combustion air in from the room. Always make sure that the room is big enough in cubic feet for the required makeup combustion air, or an opening big enough to the outside to supply combustion air to the machine. As mentioned, you can twin pipe through the roof and or the outside wall adhering to the dimensions shown in the install guide. Any vertical termination, no matter how high, must have a drain tee. You may also concentrically terminate to the outside wall or roof, and when going vertical, no matter how high, there must be a drain tee on the exhaust side. Here are the dimensions for the concentric termination. As a kit, it comes with a drain tee and hose barb fitting and can be cut to size. Any horizontal length over 6 feet will require a drain tee. If you use 3-inch PVC, you can go 31 equivalent feet, meaning you would add the 90s, which are 5 feet, and the 45s that are 3 feet, plus any straight sections, and that length can be no greater than 31 feet. If you're using a concentric termination, the maximum equivalent length can be no greater than 18 feet. If you use 4-inch PVC, you can go 63 equivalent feet, meaning you would add the 90s, which are 2.5 feet, and the 45s that are 1.5 feet, plus any straight sections, and that length can be no greater than 63 feet. If you're using a concentric termination, the maximum equivalent length can be no greater than 18 feet. You can also use an outdoor kit for those areas that don't drop below -5 degrees. Remember, all units have freeze protection to -5. This freeze protection only works when the unit is supplied with 120 volts AC.
And one of our latest and greatest, and keep your eyes open for this one, is this concentric termination piece. It'll make your life a whole heck of a lot easier as you can go out the sidewall or straight out the back of the unit. There will be a product announcement. Just keep your eyes open for it. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take off the cover. Taking off the cover is simple. There are 2 screws located on the left and the right-hand side of the unit at the very bottom. And all you have to do is unscrew those, pull forward, lift up, and you'll have the cover off. When you're taking these screws out, you'll notice that they don't fall out. It's because they're captive. There's a little bracket inside there that holds it in. So if you're waiting for it to fall out, it'll never happen. Now that we have the cover off, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open up the hot side, open up the cold side, then unwrap the cord, and plug it into the outlet. Whether a GFI is needed is going to be by your local code. Okay, once you've installed the unit and you've plugged it in, of course we're going to definitely want to turn it on. To turn it on, I'm going to go to this button here. Just hit your on and off. And you can adjust the temperature down, and it will go in 2-degree increments all the way down to 100 degrees. And you can adjust it all the way up to 140 in 2-degree increments. Your ideal temperature is anywhere between 115 and 120. This is highly suggested that you keep your water temperatures coming out of your tankless water heater at this temperature. Now, after you have the cover off, you have your piping in. We're going to check our gas pressure coming into the unit. Now we're going to fire the unit, we're going to go inside the house, and we're going to turn on all the hot water fixtures there are all the way on the hot side. We're also going to turn on the furnace if it's a gas appliance, a stove, any gas appliance in the house we're going to turn on while simultaneously firing the units with all the hot water fixtures open. Now once that occurs, the gas pressure that should be going into the gas valve is at a minimum of 3.4 inches of water column. If you don't have that, you're definitely going to have problems with the unit not performing to 100%. The other thing I would suggest as well is when you're putting in that gas line, please make sure that you go outside, go over to the meter, and make sure that the CFH on that meter matches the maximum BTU of that particular house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a slack tube manometer and I'm going to hook them up. Now that I have my slack tube manometer for this particular demonstration, this is my combustion cover. It is removable. You'll notice that there's a sight glass here to see any of the flame whenever you have the actual cover off. Because this has magnets on the back side of it, the best place for it to go is there. Now, to calibrate a slack tube manometer, this is my 0 point, and my water levels should be equal on both sides, lining up with that 0. The gas pressure port is right here on the gas valve, and it's a flathead screw. It's on the left-hand side. Imprinted in the actual casting of this particular gas valve, you'll actually see the word in. All you have to do, take a small screwdriver and turn that screw out only 2 turns. Whether you take it all the way out or just do 2 turns on it, you'll still get the same reading. The other thing you'll want to do is that no hose barb is needed. If it's a colder day, you may have to warm up the edge of this particular tube itself, and then all you have to do is slip it up and around that screw into position. There. Open up the gas line, and we're going to get pressure to this unit for gas. Now at this point, I'm going to turn on all the hot water fixtures, and I'm going to let the unit run. You will get a reading once you put this on there because you have the gas valve open, and it should have a static pressure between 3.4 inches of water column and about 8 inches of water column. Remember, the gas pipe size that you're going to use for this particular unit is based on the maximum input of the unit itself. So keep that in mind. Look at our gas pipe sizing chart. If you're not using black iron, refer to that manufacturer's gas pipe sizing chart so that you'll get the full effect for this unit. Now that we've got our gas pressure settled, the next thing we're going to want to do, Because we ran water through it and we opened up all the hot water fixtures in the house, we're going to want to clean the inlet filter. At the bottom of the unit is where most of the manufacturers will locate that particular filter. Ours is located on the inside of the unit. This is the control board. This is the controller. What we want to do is remove the 3 screws from the control board and actually put it in a service position. And let me get to that. What it has on the back side is a line, and it's kind of difficult to see, but it's this edge right there, all running along the back, and then that slips right onto this edge of the case itself. So then I just take it, slip it on, and push in. So now that I have the controller in the service position, I'm going to definitely turn off the inlet water valve, and I'm going to turn off the outlet water valve. I'm going to drain the unit through the pressure relief valve. Just open him up a little bit, let it drain out, and then, as I mentioned before, the filter is on the inlet side of the water flow control valve. Water flow control valve is here, okay? There are no screws. It's really, really easy to take out. There's just one clip at the bottom of it. What you'll do is, you'll remove this clip, then what I'm going to do is lift that up and turn it, and that's my filter screen. It's really small. You have to rinse this out. There's really no two ways about it. And if you use tape, it's perfectly fine. It'll stay this clean. It's just in case there's any flux or anything as far as the copper soldering is concerned. So that's what you're really cleaning out on this. And then you'll put it back in. I like putting them in that way, and then just slip it back down, and then take my clip, clip them back on. We can take the combustion cover off, and located inside our condensing model are 2 heat exchangers. The other thing that you'll notice is this condensate line. This is something else that you're actually going to have to fill as well. It's very, very simple, very, very easy. You'll have a clip at the very top here, and all you have to do is unclip it, pull it down, and take about 14 ounces of water in a funnel and pour it into that particular line. The condensate trap itself lives just behind the water flow control valve. It's clear plastic, and it actually has a trap in it as well. So once you've done that, you can put it back together, put your clip back on, and you're ready to go. Now that we've cleaned the filters out, you should be ready to use your tankless water heater. Making sure that the gas pressure is sufficient is very, very important. And just to go over some of our tankless water heater features, we can take the combustion cover off, and located inside our condensing model are 2 heat exchangers. Upper heat exchanger is where the water goes into first, and it's basically preheated with the exhaust gases that would normally go out a non-condensing unit. The water then travels from this upper heat exchanger to this lower copper heat exchanger through this tube here. Our upper heat exchanger is made out of siliconized aluminum. Tends to handle the stresses of expansion and contraction a lot better. Another thing that you might find different about our tankless water heaters if you've never installed them before is the fact that there are 2 fans inside the heat exchanger. This is our primary premix fan. Once 0.5 gallons a minute is established, the unit will go into firing mode. The first thing that happens is the gas valve will open, and simultaneously this fan will start to spin at the rate that the water is flowing through it. The more water that flows through it, the more that it spins. This is a negative pressure gas valve with only one solenoid on it. Once that starting rate is started and the gas valve opens up, it creates a low pressure here through the venturi of this fan as well. It's pre-mixed with air through this attenuator. It's mixed inside the chamber, forced through the burner, and then the igniters will jump a spark between themselves and ignite the gas and air mixture. The second fan, which is unique to us, is to keep the heat exchanger dry. No matter what the firing rate on a Bosch tankless water heater, the burner is always burning all the way across, no matter if it's 0.5 of a gallon a minute or 10 gallons a minute. This fan keeps the condensate, or the condensing property of natural gas, it brings it down from 130 degrees down to 100 degrees. We will not condense inside our heat exchanger. If we did, you'll actually get tiny pinholes in the fins and you'll have small pinhole leaks. This increases the longevity of our copper heat exchanger, and we have a 15-year warranty on the copper heat exchanger as well as the upper heat exchanger. All the parts located inside the unit are 5 years. And we also have a 1-year labor plan with this as well. So on a straight in and out install, like you're looking at now, the warranty is 15 years on the heat exchanger, 5 years parts, and 1 year labor. Another nice thing about our unit coming from the service side is that there are only 4 moving parts in it. But that pretty much sums up our unit. So now that I have all that done and I'm good to go, I'm going to put my controller back in its normal operating position now that I've cleaned the filter out. So I'll put him up. Screws back in. And that concludes our Bosch installation training video for our condensing water heaters. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us here at Bosch.